haven't finished it, but I'm more than halfway through the first part. And I have to say that, I mean, we were while we studied history, we were told about the extremists and the moderates and so on and so forth, but we never were given, enough information as to what their exact positions were. And just how strong the extremist position too. I mean, for example, the whole India House, the India House in London, and how this was a movement. It was not just merely 2-3 people, or the Madan Lal Dhingra incident, for example. So much happened, and we were not even told about this. And suddenly, Gandhiji is put in the middle of, suddenly, boom, he comes and he appears in Congress, suddenly he becomes a central figure. So, I mean, there is something deeply suspicious about that. At the same time, that's what we were told. So I'm glad that these things are coming out, and I hope that people will read and will also, keep themselves abreast of the new findings. Not that these are new findings, just that these facts were not told to us earlier.
Yeah. No, even the terms you use, which we have been made to use very subconsciously.
Yeah.
Extremists. These are tags we have put. I mean, Gokhale didn't go around saying, Gopal Krishna Gokhale didn't say, I'm a moderate, and Bal Gangadhar Tilak didn't go and say, I'm an extremist.
Exactly.
So, post facto, you are giving these labels. Now, if these labels are changed and we call what are called extremists as nationalists, and what are moderates, we call them as loyalists, what they were, then you have another story, right?
Absolutely.
This labeling that you actually without telling the story, you reveal a lot. Similarly, I mean, the very fact that, and the revolutionaries went one step further from even the so-called extremists by asking for complete freedom for the country. In 1905, 1907, when Madam Bhikaji Kama, along with Sardar Singh Rana, goes to the Socialist Conference, International Socialist Conference in Stuttgart in Germany in 1907, and unfurls the flag, which was designed by Savarkar and Hemchandra Das Kanungo of Bengal's Anushilan Samiti, and says, from today, India is completely free. You may do what you want. And this was a woman in an international conference going and unfurling this flag, despite British opposition to it. I don't know. This should be a very, very
all the textbooks. Exactly. This should be the chapter.
And everything else should revolve around these figures. Who, I mean, in the height of the First World War, embassies were created of free India across Europe, particularly Germany, where people like Virendranath Chattopadhyay and several others had formed a parallel government of free India already, along with the German help, and the German warships were coming and attacking British India, the ports, particularly of South India, of Port Blair and so on. Lala Hardayal and the Gadar party had taken the movement all the way till North America and Canada, where the Komagata Maru episode also happened. So all these figures, right through the our struggle for freedom, the kind of sacrifices they gave, many of them from outside India, and then of course a lot of them from within India. These names, these figures, and with these labels that are put, I mean, for revolutionaries, you have Bipin Chandra and Mridula Mukherjee and others who in their book call them even today as terrorists, in the books. And these are the books that are prescribed for university, for UPSC exams and so on. And quite recently you had, and who are the terrorists? Bhagat Singh, Jatin Das, so many others, Shurjo Sen, all these people are called terrorists, revolutionary terrorists. So I think it was in 2016, it was Bhagat Singh's family which took a lot of exception to this, saying this term itself is so loaded, and it is being used in independent India, a term that was used against their forefathers by the British, to call them terrorists today. And for a young person, what does that do, Pujita ji, who reads and says Bhagat Singh is a terrorist? At the same time, the television is flashing news about terrorists gunning down so many civilians in Kashmir, or what is happening.
He equates This person with
Yeah, subconsciously you're like, oh, Bhagat Singh was one of these kind of loonies who were, killing people or going on a rampage. So these terms are very, very important. They say a lot without saying much. When you put that plaster on someone's forehead, you kind of demarcate a lot of the story without elaborating so much of the story. So this is a very, very subtle way of brainwash, which is done. So extremists, moderates, terrorists, all these things. So moderate, the word is very, it's very nice, right? Who would not like to be moderate?
moderate.
Reasonable, peaceful, non-violent,
Yeah.
moderate. None of us would want to keep going on a rampage and being extreme and slapping people around or gun trotting. No one would want. As human beings, we would like to be moderate. So the aspirational goal is to become a moderate in life.
Yes.
So, and these are the people whom you have to follow. These are the people whose virtues you need to imbibe. So this is very, very subconscious brainwash, which is done without getting into the details. And we today also, when you think of moderates, you see all those faces, right? Gopal Krishna Gokhale and all these. Yeah. So that's how we are trained to think in the long term.
Please remember to subscribe to us and switch on the notifications for this channel. For our other social media links, more content, and to support our work, please visit citti.net. Dhanyavad. Namaskar.